assignment 3.4.
Okay.
Okay.
So the host started recording. We're in speaker view or gallery view.
Yep, we're in gallery view, yes.
Do we need to do introductions? We all know what the introductions are. The roles are the same as last time. Do we want to do introductions though?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Chris, and I am the host.
I'm Hank Platt, and I'm here.
I am Kyle Garbish, and I am the challenger, Team 3.
I'm Yvonne Cowan, and I am the facilitator.
I don't think I'll be challenging anything on this.
We did that. It looks like the joke is skipped, unless.
Yeah, there's
you wanna
no
tell us
joke.
another
I'm
joke?
just taking time.
Okay.
Let's roll it. Let's roll
Okay,
through.
the third point is to review and discuss the written feedback from the other team. As with all feedback in this course, please try not to be too defensive. These are professor's thoughts. Though it is a natural reaction, take the feedback as given to be helpful. Oh, is that?
That is a train. You hear that?
Yeah.
I have 5 acres of land, so at the end of my property is the railroad.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I can't believe you guys heard that.
I heard that. That's crazy. That's scary. Okay, so then she says, take the feedback as given to be helpful by the other team, and if it seems useful to your team, then use it. If not, then just move on to the next suggestions feedback they provide. So, do we want to, how do we want to do this? If I can suggest maybe when we rotate and each person reads some, the paragraph, for example, starts with preparedness.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to take it by bullet point?
No, we'll read the paragraph. I think bullet points didn't take too long.
Okay, Hank, you go first.
Hoorah. All right, so for team preparedness, the points that they'd given down was the majority of the team seemed to be prepared for the meeting, and one member was very honest about the material he had not reviewed. The team agreed to move their content discussion meetings from a Monday to Tuesday, allowing for more time for content material to be reviewed. Keep messages simple and use short, direct statements. I don't know.
I think that these are all things that they feel we are prepared for. Or
okay.
preparedness?
I'm assuming. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Okay, sounds good.
One of the team members did a great job explaining how you can't change other people as discussed in section 6 of GW fostering. That's just a compliment to whoever did that.
I don't even remember that, so good job, team.
Yeah.
I don't know which one did it. I think we probably all built on each other.
So as far as preparedness goes, it sounds like, they were impressed and thought we did a good job preparing for everything, and then even touched on the point of us moving our meetings from Monday to Tuesday, which is helpful. But I don't know how much to cover on this. I mean, we were prepared at the end of the day.
Yeah, I read it. I agree with you. I read it all as kudos. There's no opportunities there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Who wants to read next?
I'll do it.
Go big.
Communication within the group seemed natural and everyone was engaged. There were a lot of interruptions throughout the first 30 minutes of the video, and several times a team member was cut off before being able to finish their input. We suggest using a speaking order during the meeting to allow everyone a chance to voice their input. The practice of having the facilitator send out a text email at the end of the meeting in regards to the next meeting time assignments and roles is a great idea. For being new, everyone worked very well together and got along very well. Fostering, the team did well at adding unique concepts and not repeating what others had said. fostering, conveying empathy. The team did a great job expressing empathy to one of the team members that expressed he was nervous when they first started. Chris, I'm going to assume that was you.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just spitballing here. This was like 5 meetings ago. So overall, it feels like we did pretty good as far as team dynamics. I think we've, with a lot of Dr. Shanley's feedback, with her telling us that we need to take turns and not cut each other off. I think we've worked really, really well. I mean, perfect example was just the meeting that we just had, and they don't know that we text or email in our meetings, so we do that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I think otherwise they did a pretty good job at critiquing us for the first 30 minutes that they watched us. So, but I think we need to still focus on making sure that we're not talking over each other, allowing one another time to speak, and if so helps, maybe give it a second or two before another person speaks, because remember I told you guys about that time gap.
Mm-hmm.
So it just allows the other person, like Harrison, say I get done talking, wait like a second or two, and then start talking. So it just allows for that lag.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was our biggest problem, is that we were all talking over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The feedback here is a lot of what I expected, and I think all of us really anticipated to hear from this review and this assessment, is that, yeah, there are some times where we are cutting each other off, or it is a pretty engaged conversation. Everyone's just trying to get their voice out there. This last meeting, I felt really good about it. So again, yeah, dialing it back is good, so that everyone can say what they need to, get it out there, and not feel like they're being cut off or left out and left behind. So in general, this is what I expected to see and read in this assessment. But yeah, it's not something that we can't work on. We can always work on this, and I think we are doing a pretty good job at that.
I definitely think it's in congruence of what Dr. Chanley is saying too, especially earlier. Yeah. I do think that stuff keeps getting away from me. I'm sorry. I do think they hit a lot of key points that I thought I saw from our own video too. That I think in that meeting we did do really well overall.
Uh-huh.
And especially in terms of empathy of what they were saying, and unique concepts. And yeah, and then I think we are still, I mean, like, we've definitely evolved from speaking over each other, especially in our past meeting. I think that was probably one of the best meetings in terms of rubric I think we've had. So.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. It's been a long day for everyone. Who's got something for us?
Okay, next section. Chris, did you want to read it? You want me to read it? What do you want to do about structure and organization?
Okay, I'll read it.
Okay.
All right, structure and organization. Everyone on the team seemed to know their roles for the meeting. While having a formal structure to the meeting is helpful, the team did a very good job of allowing a free-flowing conversation between members while still being controlled by the facilitator. Having a timekeeper to alert the team every 30 minutes, great job to help keep the meeting on track. And then lastly, they put facilitator did a great job bringing the conversation back on track several times while the conversation went off topic. His approach was polite and effective for keeping the meeting on track. Any comments for that?
I'm going to do my challenge thing here, because I don't know if I'm supposed to do it or not on this one. But do you think that it's always on the facilitator to have to bring the subject back, or do you think that any one of us could bring it back? Do you think that's really, I mean, do you think it's important, or do you think we should allow ourselves to elaborate, but obviously keeping it to a, within a time limit? But do you think it's necessarily that important that's always focused on the facilitator to always bring us back on track, or do you think any one of us could just step in and do that?
I do think it's the facilitator's role to keep the meeting moving, but I don't see that why there should be a problem of others trying to move along. Yeah.
For me, I think that the facilitator is the one that should be cognizant of that at all times and keeping that in the back of their head. But it's up to anyone to hop in there and say, hey, is this really the best use of our time? Is this really where the subject is wanting us to go? Or are we getting off track? I think that the facilitator needs to be cognizant about that and thinking about it throughout the entire meeting, but that any and everyone should feel like they are welcome to do that, and that I don't see a downside to it, as long as you're not cutting off a good conversation that fits with the topic. Then I think anyone should be able to and feel welcome to hop in and say, let's keep going with something else.
So in this team, I think our feedback is that we were, first of all, I think that, obviously Dr. Chanley, we're rock stars. You already told me that we were one of your best teams. So we're going to take that as a compliment. We're also going to see the feedback got majority of kudos. There was one opportunity in us talking over each other, but I think that again, my word, synergy is so good, and we have such a safe space that we've built that it's easy for us to jump in and join in the dialogue. Wouldn't you say, Hank? As opposed to just keeping too structured and rigid in that. So that's one thing that we were able to do right away. The other thing, too, I'm wondering, to build off of what you were saying, Hank, I agree with you that it is obviously the facilitator's role in this class to make certain that we don't stray from agenda too much and all of that. But let's say, as an individual contributor in a real-life team, if you felt the agenda was getting off topic, how would you, Chris, as a leader, without a leadership role, without a facilitator role, how would you think that we should direct that back to the agenda? Make certain that we're still respectful and cognizant of our team and our own non-leadership role in that team. Because, of course, you don't want to step on people's toes,
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I guess I would ask a question in terms of what the next topic is, so that it would kind of like re-spark, like, oh, right, yeah, let's get on, that's the next topic, right? Let's just get over there. I think that's how I would do it, but I mean, I haven't had any experience in that, so.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've had experience when you've been in teams and people are having similar conversations and you wanted to redirect it because time was getting short or whatever the situation was.
Right.
So you have that experience. You're trying to play it down like you haven't had experience. I'm calling you out on it, dude. You had experience.
Yeah, dude, you got the experience, man. You really do. Like Starbucks, man. That's meeting written all over, dude.
Yep. Yeah, and I agree. Again, Hank, I agree to all the points that you made too there. Not to have group think here, but it's true. So the next thing on the agenda is we reviewed the feedback. Are there any other thoughts, comments, or discussion points that we have about this?
The last thing I would say is that, again, coming back to the one opportunity, I think we should take away with a good grain of salt is that we need to have maybe not so much a speaking order, but more respect for someone else while they're speaking. Because I don't want to inhibit anyone's ability to say what they want to and feel they need to say, but having everyone jump all over each other might end up, not saying that we do that right now, but that's going to really inhibit the team over time. People start getting frustrated, like, oh, I never get to say what I want. So not using a speaking order, but being respectful when someone's talking and not jumping in until they're clearly finished is really important. Otherwise, I think we did really well, and I'm happy to see the positives that they've brought out from our, one of our very first meetings. So it's definitely been great to hear all this stuff. And
so what, I agree with you. What would be the good bridge? So let's go off of that too. Let's say you were sitting in a meeting and you feel like your point isn't being taken. A chance to talk. It's happened to all of us. But you want to contribute to that meeting because the last thing that you want to do is be the wet noodle. You don't want to be the house salsa, you want to be the wok, right? So how would you, in a team of strong personalities or a team of other leaders, how would you want to go ahead and get that point across? To where how would you jump in and make sure your contributions are done?
Have I already brought, in this theoretical scenario, have I already brought up that point and it's been overlooked?
Or not. Let's say you're sitting in a team and there's 10 people in the team in the meeting and 9 of them are managers. They're all over you. They're all leaders. They all want to get their point across. They're all busy. They're all wanting to make certain that their agenda is viewed. And you might be intimidated because they're all managers, or you just haven't been able to kind of jump in, or they're not asking you, whatever. How would you make sure that your voice is heard?
The biggest thing would just to be reiterated in the same, in a different language, something that might be more fitting to what they want to hear and what their brain is kind of wired to hear, some action item words that might spark their interest more. And if that doesn't work, whether during the meeting or after the meeting or whatever, talk to one of those members in that group, confide in them and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is my idea. Like, can you help me bring this to light in the next meeting or something like that? If there was another meeting coming up. But reiterating, and then if that doesn't work, confide in someone and say, hey, I need your help bringing this to light. Would you help me do that?
How do you do it in the meeting? What if you don't want to reiterate? Let's just say, for example, there's 10 strong managers or 9 strong managers, 9 different agendas, 9 jockeying for positions. You can't reiterate all 9 of them. How do you get your individual thought across? Individual thought, not reiteration. How do you get your individual thought across?
Commanding the floor.
Great idea. And you want to make sure that they hear that great idea right then. Because you're in that point, you're in that meeting, you have everyone's attention. How are you going to do that? Chris, what do you think?
In that scenario, I would have to speak up. I guess I'm just going to have to say something. And just interrupt, I think. And it's not, I guess it doesn't have to be in a rude way, right? Like, I guess I could just be like, hey guys, I actually want to talk about this a little bit more. I kind of want to dive into it. If I'm just being honest, if they're just overlooking me, especially that one thought, I'm just going to say I just had this thought,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good bridge. What do you think, Hank? To make sure your individual unique point is brought up, how would you bridge that?
Well, you first get the attention of everyone in the group and then say the idea. Say, does this fit with the agenda that we have planned out today, or does it not? And if it doesn't, can we put a pin in it and hit on it on the next meeting?
Yeah.
In a separate meeting.
Yeah. I think that's good. Kyle, did you have anything to add into this comments or thing that we're on?
Sure. When I was an assistant manager at Anytime Fitness, we would always have a conference between all the managers within the area, within our geographical area. So there's a lot of managers, and it's a teleconference. So it's not like where you could see us. It's like you don't know who's going to speak. And there would be many times where if I had a great idea, you just got to interrupt. You'd be like, hey, guys, I got something to say. I just want to get this off my mind. You don't mind, do you? And just be like, I hate to interrupt here. No, and most 99.9% of the time, they're going to say, just hold everything at the end. Or they're going to say, yeah, go ahead, Kyle. Say what you got to say. Now, when you're in a formal meeting, you just got to, like, your body posture is going to show. You just, get like, hey, I got something. I hate to interrupt here, but I got to say this right here and there. If otherwise I'm going to lose it. No one's gonna bash you on it. No one's gonna bash you on it. Especially if you're in a team meeting or if you're having an arrangement. Or they're gonna say in the meeting, hey, just hold all questions at the end, or hold everything that you got to say at the end. It's always gonna be like that. Or just like you said, Chris, interrupt politely. Say, hey, I'm sorry if I got to talk out of hand here.
Yep.
Cool.
I agree.
Do we have anything else to review on this assessment? Does anyone else have something?
Yeah, that's the thing that I was going to say that we had to do.
Overall, it was a great assessment. I thought, I expected all that. I expected everything. I expected that they were going to say things that people were talking over one another, and it's gotten better. That was our first meeting, I think.
It was.
Yeah, I think, Hank, you were the facilitator on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
That's when he said polite. I mean, you're the only polite person here, so I'm just kidding. No, I was right on.
Did you hear that, Chris? Yeah, Mickey, you got us both in one blow, dude.
I will party with you guys, okay?
I ain't going to Wisconsin, bud. You come out here.
I will. I'm going to. Don't worry.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I'm surprised, honestly, that they didn't, quote unquote, bash us more. I felt like there could have been easily more criticisms in there. Maybe we're just that good.
I actually think that I kind of wish it was more critical, like other than what like the teachers already been saying. I was kind of hoping that they would have their own perspective, since they're kind of in the same boat with us. But I guess maybe we are that good.
We're that good. I keep telling you guys, we're good. They actually picked up on 3 things that we did. And so, again, it was our first meeting. It was the first 30 minutes is what their assessment was. It's what the assessment says. And they gave us 3 not only strong compliments, but 3 things that they thought were great ideas. So for the first time in a team meeting like that, that's exceptional for us.
Yeah.
So that is very good. I'm not kidding when I say we're good. The next thing on the agenda, if we don't have anything else on this topic, what do you guys think? Can I move on?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sounds good.
Next thing on it is questions for Dr. Chanley. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Chanley specific to our feedback in this assignment?
Just the template. I really stress the template because it's gonna eliminate that calling you. I mean, and I'm sorry, and I know you like to be called Dr. Chanley. I'm saying this directly to you. I understand it, but it just eliminates any frustration, any confusion, any questions. And when you have a template, you have something to pull off of instead of creating your own template. It's just, it's because, like perfect example was she called me on Friday, and if there was a template there, then that would have eliminated that call altogether. Honestly.
So question, Kyle, I understand what you're saying, and I think we talked about it when we were doing the assignment, but then when she jumped on today and she was discussing it and she spoke directly to that, her point was that was the point of the assignment, to see what you guys had pulled from the readings to create the questions and template that you have. Just like this interview questions thing, she's not giving us a template. So she's expecting us to pull from the readings, be prepared with questions, 3 to 5 questions is what we agreed on, for us to discuss as a team and narrow down for the interviewee.
Yeah, but then why did she call?
Well, she called me too. I'm guessing that she wanted to maybe touch base with the student one-on-one.
Easier for
There were 10 teams from 4 to 5. So it's like barely, not even 60 people, right? Maybe she wanted to have that. I don't know.
She was pretty, when she questioned, when I was the first one to call her, and then when I called Harrison, we had to refine our assignment, and I think that if there was a template there, we wouldn't have had to go back and refine the assignment. Either way, you're right. You are very right. I mean, yeah, we were supposed to. She wanted us to think of it ourselves, but then there wouldn't have been if we were supposed to do it ourselves, then why not just leave it the way it was supposed to be and not have to refine it?
Either way, that's questions for her rather than pertaining to the right now.
Yeah.
I just want to watch.
How did we think this meeting went based on George Washington University website for the questions we looked at before and team effectiveness?
I think it went well. I think everybody got a chance to speak and say their perspective, and everyone responded to it, not in a dull.
Yeah, no one took it personally. Other thing I would say again, just like last meeting, everyone took their turns talking, and then everyone gave a response to that, or at least a lot of people did give a response to whatever the input we had, which is great without having to talk over each other. And I think that's exactly what Dr. Chanley is looking for, and what a lot of team leaders are looking for. So I think that's a great way to do it. Yeah, I think it went really well all in all.
Yeah. Do we have any changes that are needed for the next meeting other than the facilitator? Chris, you're going to be facilitator.
Yep, sounds good.
Hey, what about you? Is there any changes, Cadence? Sorry.
So reviewing the instructions for the next meeting, we already set up our roles, and our date and time is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Reviewing the instructions for that next meeting is to have the interview guide ready, have the questions ready, and have the readings done. Is there anything else, guys, that we need to do?
I got a lot to do today.
That's why God invented cold brew. Coffee, that is.
And my wife likes that stuff.
It's getting me through.
Yep, I'm good. I'm feeling good, baby.
All right.
I'm not feeling
Good,
good, but good.
Yep. I'm solid. I'm good.
All right. Oh, I say we call it. Chris, you gonna upload both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Let us know if you have any issues with uploading.
Okay.
All right.
We're all good. We see each other tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. If anyone has any questions, we need to email. Right.
All right.
All right.
Have a great night, guys. Great
Yeah,
day
thanks
tomorrow.
for
Happy
meeting up.
Friday. Tomorrow's TGIF.
Heck yeah. And look at that.
All right.
Half hour.
Sweet.
We're
Perfect.
good.
Nice. All right,
We're
guys.
good.
Peace
Have a
out.
good night.
Have a good night. Bye, guys. Chris, did you want to get together on OGL343, or are you doing your own thing?
It's all right. I think I'm gonna wing it. I'm just gonna.
All right.
It's just more of the journal entries that I'm more worried about.
I haven't done any of those.
Yeah, and that's what. And then I just realized that we were supposed to be doing reviews in this class every week too. I didn't know that.
Reviews?
Yeah, remember self-assessment and your teammate assessment?
In this class, but it's at the very end of the modules.
Yeah, but I didn't know we were supposed to be taking notes every week, So I was like, well,
I mean, we can, but we also have our videos we can go back and look at too.
And that's true.
And I think that we have a pretty good handle on each other as an individual contributor.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I just got to make time. You know what I mean? I keep putting it off, especially in the other class in 340.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you. All right, I gotta go. I left work early, so I gotta jump back on that before I jump back over to 340.
Yeah, all right. Sounds
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
See you
bye.
later. Bye.